Hey, Dom, how are
Hey
you?
Mike, what's up?
Not too much, but feeling relaxed and ready to talk about our movie for this week.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh yeah. So without further ado,
right.
our movie this week is the 1998 film Zero Effect, starring Bill Pullman and Ben Stiller. It's how do I describe this? The story follows the best private detective in the world
Yep.
as they're hired by a sort of cagey millionaire to solve his blackmailing case. He's being blackmailed and he wants it to stop. These
Yeah.
guys go through all sorts of it's more complex because I don't know how to describe the private detective Daryl Zero except a crazy recluse
Yeah. Yeah. That
who
well,
doesn't want to deal with anyone.
that's a
So
pretty good
so
description.
all his client dealings are through his basically his handler, who is Ben Stiller as Steve Arlo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's the go between. And he's frustrated with the whole thing. And yet he's getting paid well and it works.
Yeah. Now, before we go too much further on the description, this was your pick this
This
week.
is my pick.
And I want to because you had whether you also did it in your video short for the preview on this, but you had talked about how you had a vague memory of it, but you had remembered that you really loved the movie. Did you still feel the same?
Not exactly.
Right.
Like I'm watching it. I still think it's a good film. It's not a great film. It's definitely
Yeah.
got its weaknesses. Um, but I'm watching it with Lisa,
Yeah.
my wife, for those of you out there. And every now and then I'm looking over like, why did I like this film? And she figured it out at the end. The
Okay.
soundtrack.
Okay. Well, that's a
I
good.
love the soundtrack
Yeah.
to this
That's
movie.
a good reason. However, I had never seen the movie. You recommended it, and I love Bill Pullman and I love Ben Stiller, and they're definitely two favorite actors of mine. Ben Stiller is hilarious, and he can do some serious too.
I
And
thought he was great in this movie.
I did too. I definitely did. And Bill Pullman is just he's good in everything. Or,
Exactly.
it's sad that we lost Bill Pullman,
Hmm.
but yeah, he always been a great actor. So so yeah, like I said, I definitely enjoyed it. I can't say that I loved the movie, but I definitely like it, and it's definitely one. I mean, I'd watch that again with
It's a
anybody. So
fun movie.
yes, it
You
is.
know,
It
it's
is.
not great. You're not going to have deep conversations about it. It's almost completely forgettable once
Well,
you've seen it.
it's a good it's a good detective,
Right.
almost a little bit of detective noir. It's got a little bit of that element. But it's certainly a fun detective movie. There's some comedy in it for sure, and it's just a good time. So yeah.
So one of the freakiest things about this movie is it came out in 1998. I know I saw it around that time.
Right.
I didn't move to Portland, Oregon until 2000,
Oh,
midway through
okay.
2000.
Yeah.
And ever since, I've loved all things Portland, Oregon. I mean,
Yeah.
say what you will about the city, I love it. It's
Yeah.
now my home.
Yeah.
Um, but I did not realize how prominent Portland was in this movie. This movie is Portland.
Well, the whole time I was watching, because I visited you guys in Portland, I'm not that familiar with the city. I really haven't seen a lot of it. I've drank in some bars here, or the bars there, but I haven't. It's not like a city that I can't say I'm familiar with the city.
Mhm, mhm.
And I was watching it and really fully realizing this is all about Portland.
This is
And
all about
yeah,
Portland.
the location is prime. It's part of the feel of this of this
It's
movie.
almost a cast member.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. it's that tight with Portland. And I mean, they go to other places. The funny part is how Bill Pullman is constantly making Ben Stiller fly somewhere just to do something silly that he could have done himself, or that they didn't need to do that right then and there. But the primarily it's Portland.
Right.
So yeah, the whole time I'm watching, I'm thinking, Dawn must know this spot. Lisa must know this
Oh
spot.
my God.
Yeah.
We love to take stills from the movie and use them as backgrounds
Okay.
just to reinforce what the movie is like.
Yeah.
This is a still.
Okay.
And I'm sure a lot of viewers out there recognize this because this is the most photographed bridge in the world.
Really? I didn't know
This is
that.
the St. John's Bridge.
Okay.
It's
Huh.
the highest bridge in Portland.
Wow. Okay.
This bridge is famous. I've been over this bridge tons of times. And so just to have so many iconic things, the last still you had a scene of, they were walking on Ben Stiller and Ryan O'Neal were walking on it's Waterfront Park, but I can't remember the name of the Portland
Right there.
politician.
That's
Tom McCall.
Yeah.
Tom McCall, Waterfrort Park, right
Okay.
there.
Okay.
You're seeing in the background the guardrail, and the river right there is the Willamette River,
Okay.
and
All
the
right.
bridge behind them is the Burnside Bridge.
Nice. Nice.
So, like if you know Portland, you recognize so many things about this city.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, shout out to all the Portland residents there. So, a must see.
It amazes me that I love this movie before I was ever living in Portland.
Wow. Yeah, that's a cool thing right there. But yeah, I mean that's something we should be we should be encouraging the Portland the Portland watchers to or residents to
That
watch.
scene, that scene, for anyone that knows Portland, that was done in Ruth Chris Steakhouse
Okay.
in Portland.
Yeah. Never heard of the place, but hey, I love steak. So
It's a great steakhouse.
oh, so right there, that's our good reason to go there. So good
It's
steak.
like so again, for anyone that's interested in where some of the movie was shot, when we put this up in the comments or in the movie description, I am going to put a link to a local that did a video going around to all the places in Portland this movie was filmed.
Oh wow, cool. Very cool.
And
Yeah,
the funny thing is he calls himself the Creeper.
wow.
I'm
Okay.
like, really? Is that the name you chose? I mean, love the guy, love the videos he does, but I'm like, the Creeper?
Yeah. Well, you know, you almost need to do another short before we actually even, because this is going to come out on Saturday. When people see this, they'll be
Mhm.
seeing it on Saturday. But unless we decide to do it a little early. But I mean, do another short and maybe link some good photos of different places, because that would be fun right before it premieres. So yeah, do
Well,
another short.
I'm not going to have time because this
Yeah.
premieres tomorrow.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, my days are confused because I just got off of a night shift, so
Mhm.
I haven't been awake that long. But no, like I said, I definitely enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. It's funny. Some of the things that, Ben Stiller is just one of those kind of characters. A lot of times he's the guy that's kind of getting tossed around, and it's like, he's got a nice, I don't know if it's his girlfriend or his wife, but he can never see her because this guy's, you know, dragging him all over creation, and keeps telling the guy like, I need to see my wife or girlfriend or whatever she was, but yeah, and the girlfriend
Yeah,
of
but
course is
it's
frustrated.
odd. Like, so here's some of the weaknesses
Yeah,
of the film. A lot of the characters are very thin. It's a tiny cast
yeah,
anyway. Like
yeah,
if you look at the cast, it's like maybe 6 people.
Oh yeah,
who
yeah,
really have the screen time. Um, there's some friction because Ben Stiller working for this guy is taking time away from his girlfriend, but like we don't even know who she is. We
right,
don't even know if she really cares that much about him. She seems annoyed,
yeah,
but other than that, we don't really know. And then the romance between Bill Pullman's character and this woman behind
yeah,
you,
yeah,
that's really thin as well. Like
yeah.
it happens really quick. There's not a lot of romance in this romance.
No, and on top of it, like that one of the things that I found more unsatisfying about the movie was just the way that they kind of like went their separate ways. And you know, whatever his problem was, because clearly the man had problems.
Clearly.
Agoraphobia could have been one of the things, but I mean, I thought to myself, is he like, you know, autistic? Is he like high spectrum? Is it something else? Because there definitely seemed to be something very traumatized about his character, and they never fully fleshed that out either. Uh,
Exactly.
you know, I mean, why was he, you know, at that point, and at what point did he actually like really get to where he
Yeah, to
was
even
when?
get some of that background filled in would have been
Yeah,
much more satisfying.
yeah, and even how Ben Stiller like even became involved with them because they had a personal relationship. They definitely were
Mhm.
friends. Obviously, Ben Stiller is, you know, really frustrated with his employment with the guy, and his girlfriend or wife is certainly really frustrated. I mean, she's telling him like, "You've got to stop this. We've, you know, this has got to end." But I mean, he's definitely a troubled. He's a Zero is a troubled man, yeah, and he leaves her. I mean, he helps her, but he you know, he provides her with a new identity, and she's got money and everything like that. But it's still very unsatisfying because why didn't he? Yeah, that's hysterical. When and he's like, why are we talking in a phone booth just a few feet apart? You know, it's and some of it seemed to be that Bill Pullman's character Zero is almost like enjoying the play.
Mhm.
He's enjoying the fact that, you know, making this like more of a this is the thrill he gets in life, being a detective, playing at this game of cat and mouse,
Yeah,
and
he loves pretending he's someone else and hates
yes,
being in his own skin.
yeah, yeah. But again, it would have helped if at some point like somebody would have revealed something about him and why he's that way, you know. But
I don't know how into television mysteries you are or crime dramas,
oh,
but he
absolutely.
really reminds me of Monk.
Okay, Monk. I don't. I'm trying to think if I know Monk, but
So
um,
Monk, it's set in San Francisco. He was a police detective until his wife gets murdered,
okay.
and it creates such psychological trauma in him that he becomes like multiphobic. He's agoraphobic. He's germophobic,
Yeah.
and he's so kind of unhinged that he can't stay on the force. They can't have him as an actual police detective, but he's so smart and great at solving crimes that they can't let him go and hire
Yeah.
him on
Yeah.
as a consultant.
Right. Yeah. If you get somebody that has that type of talent and talents, yeah, how are you going to let the guy walk off into the sunset? Because
Right,
it's, you
right.
know,
And so this seemed like the same thing. So for anyone watching that has never seen Zero Effect, if you've seen Monk, sort of similar.
yeah, yeah. No, when you said when you said, you know, like crime dramas or, you know, police ones or something like that, I the first thing that probably would have come to mind is somebody and an eccentric one is somebody like Columbo or
Mhm.
yeah, he certainly had his share of eccentricities. But
Columbo is the classic.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
like the television detective against which all other television detectives
yeah.
are compared.
Well, and I love the fact that it's Peter Falk and, you know, playing the role too. he was great in movies, and they had him for the series, and but and terrific guest stars every week. There'd be somebody like Johnny Cash or somebody like that.
Oh, so many guest stars.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the things that made the series great was you never knew who was going to pop up. Patrick McGee or whatever, all these
Hmm.
different people. But yeah, like I said, this one here, I could almost see that them making this one into a not that Bill Pullman or Ben Stiller would have played the roles, but you could almost see that this one could have been adapted into a TV series.
Funny you should say that.
Really,
They tried it.
really,
And
really.
so again, I'm going to link to that video of that guy showing the different filming locations in Portland.
Yeah.
I am also going to add a link to the unaired television pilot of Zero Effect.
Oh, cool. Very
It
cool. Yeah.
was it's horrible,
Oh, really?
but I can see why they didn't put
High
it
high
on.
praise
It's
there,
almost
Dom.
unwatchable.
Yeah, high praise.
And it's mainly because of the guy they get to play Daryl Zero.
Yeah, yeah,
He's so annoying.
yeah. Well, wow.
Like he was just a little unhinged in the movie. He is outright annoying in the
Yeah,
television series.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of times with TV series, they tend to personify whatever the quirks are, and
Hmm.
it becomes much worse. And this guy had enough quirks on his own. It did not need to be personified at all. But no, like I said, I think Bill Pullman was perfect. I heard the role was actually written for him
I think it was.
specifically, but
Yeah.
he well he did it to me. He did it just right because as eccentric as he was, he never went over into the bizarro. It's too much land that a lot of other actors I think would have taken it too far, and I don't think he did. I think Bill
He
Pullman.
really played it understated.
Yes, yeah, and to me that's kind of he never he's to me Bill Pullman always his roles were always just he nice and easy. He never pushed it too far. I never
Hmm.
saw him too wacky or weird or whatever. He could do wacky and weird, and he could always do real straight too. But he's great in this. He's absolutely great in this.
So
So
this movie is the directorial debut of Jake Kasdan.
okay,
Jake Kasdan both wrote and directed this film. And if you don't know the name, a few of his other movies are Walk Hard,
okay, yeah, yeah, yep,
Bad Teacher, Sex Tape,
okay.
Jumanji
I
1 and 2.
wow, okay, I see a pattern here.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I actually I didn't tie that director with those movies. Just they're movies that I pretty much enjoy. But some of them are a little lesser, but I still I enjoy most of those ones that you just named. So, but like Bad Teacher's fun. It's
Hmm.
kind of silly. It's a little campy. It's a little crazy. But what was the first one you named?
The first one was Walk
Oh
Hard,
yeah, Walk Hard. Now I actually
Dewey
haven't seen.
Cox story, or
Yeah, yep, yep, and with John C. Riley, uh,
yes.
and who I love. And it's funny because different people have told me I don't bother seeing it. I have not. I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen the trailer.
You've
I
never
always
seen it?
I haven't seen it, and I want to see it.
That is
Uh,
shocking to me that you
yeah,
haven't seen that movie.
I know, because I always wanted to see it, but I had a few people say, "Oh, don't bother," and so it's probably made me delay it. But
Well, I
I'll
mean,
get it
it's not a movie that, like, if I died tomorrow and had never seen it, my life
right.
would not be lesser.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
yeah,
like you must see this movie, but
yeah.
it's a fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to be an AFI's, top 100,
Right, it won't be
but
Criteria
yeah,
Collection.
yeah, but still, yeah, it's, again, it's one I want to visit. But no, I haven't seen it for some reason or another. Now, the one bad thing about having Ben Stiller in a movie, because he was pretty much a straight man in this movie. I mean, he was comedy's in this movie, but it's subtle. Um,
Yeah,
and
this is a movie just like the last movie, Pushing 10.
yeah,
it's described somewhat as a comedy, and I
Yeah,
said I don't see the comedy.
I did, but
Same with
now,
this movie.
yeah, yeah,
This movie is described somewhat as a comedy,
yeah.
and I might be amusing at times. It's not a comedy to me.
Yeah, it made me laugh in different places, but no, I primarily I saw this more as detective
Right.
mystery drama.
Mhm.
And but my one thing about when Ben Stiller is in a movie, if he's playing more of a straight role, I have seen so many of his movies where you know, you can't say bomb on an airplane, different iconic lines that come out of this guy. And his role in Tropic Thunder, different movies that he's been in, that you just like, you crack up laughing just seeing his face. So sometimes it's hard to actually take him in a more serious role now because of
Mhm.
that, but he's good in this. And I was able to separate it as hard as, like I said, certain times you just see this expression right here. I'm expecting a crazy line, but
I don't know how Ben Stiller was able to separate it. This
yeah.
movie, Zero Effect, hit the theaters only 6 months before Something About Mary.
Oh my God, yeah, because that's a classic one
Right.
of Ben Stiller being that crazy dude. It's just one of those it's just one of those things that you associate him with is Something About Mary. I mean, all the crazy between him and who was it, Matt Dillon, that kept trying to get the one that kept trying to get at, yeah, it was Matt Dillon, right?
Was it?
Kept,
I honestly do not remember who
yeah,
the competition was.
yeah, because he kept trying to act like he was into a lot of the same things that Mary was into, and he started talking about the her was it her little brother that
Mhm.
and he the stuff he was coming out with, it was so offensive with the I just love those little retards or something, and she was like, what you call them that? And it's so, like I said, he was, the lines he kept coming out with was just cringe lines. You're like, oh no.
Oh my God, that movie was hilarious.
It really was. It's one of those kind of movies that you're laughing pretty much from the start of the movie to the end. And you keep saying to yourself, "Oh my God, I can't believe they just did that or showed that or whatever."
I'll never think about hair gel the same way again.
No, no, and I don't think anybody else will. In fact, if you put hair gel into your hair, it's almost impossible not to think of that scene. And especially when she goes, "Oh, let me have some of that," and she puts it in her hair. No, just a great movie. Um,
Mhm.
all the stuff when he's dating her, and the whole prom date and getting stuck in the bathroom with his zipper stuck. It's like, oh God. So, but
Okay,
yeah,
but to pull it back to
to this
Zero
movie
Effect, the scene behind me,
and
that's
and
the
uh, and behind me.
that's the Portland airport.
Oh, really?
And
Wow.
the reason I know, if anyone is really, really into Portland and
Yeah.
has been in Portland for a while, the reason I know without a doubt is because that carpet is famous.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah,
That blue, almost, it's almost a 70s kind of a car, or
I
80s.
I thought the pattern was hideous.
Yeah.
But oh my God, people put it on everything. There are socks of that pattern. There are
Wow.
handbags. Like people, that pattern is iconic in Portland.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Jeez. Now, I'm sure the answer to this is no, but does that phone booth, that phone, that whole little lineup there, does that exist anymore, or is that
You
gone?
know, you should
Yeah.
know there's no way that
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah. I mean, phone booths have gone, they're so rare. You almost never see, I don't know if I'd call those booths, but they kind of are booths. But yeah, you don't see those anymore. No one uses them. For one thing, everybody's got a cell phone. it's very, if you need a phone nowadays, it's really hard to actually find one. So you're
There,
pretty much out of luck.
there's a hacker magazine, or more of a zine than an actual magazine or journal,
Yeah.
called 440.
Okay.
And they'll like the articles in there are like, how to hack the AT&T customer service,
Right.
or things like that. Like if
Yeah.
you're having an annoying time trying to talk to someone, these are the things to do. So it's like little hacking things.
Yeah.
But in that crowd, they know payphones are so rare that in the back of the zine, they always put a photograph from someone of a payphone that still works somewhere in the world,
Huh. Huh.
because it's
Wow.
so rare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I often think so because I've always got my phone with me. If I don't have my phone with me, I'm turning around going back home.
Mhm.
That's how bad it is. If I start to work, I am going to do a U-turn. And if I'm going to be late to work, it's probably going to be because I realize I don't have my phone and I'm going to I use my phone at work. I use it for work. I mean, I call whether it's a supervisor or coworker that I need to get a hold of. I'm just as apt to call them on a phone as I am to get on the radio and call them over the radio.
Mhm.
Some things can't be said over the radio. Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, I have to have my phone with me and I have to have it for personal use too. So me needing a payphone is pretty much never. But I always think to myself, well, if I needed a payphone, I'd like to have the convenience of needing the payphone. And so I do feel almost like it's something that's needed in some locations, even if it's just for an emergency, because you can go around and go, "Hey, can I borrow your phone?" A lot of people are going to go, "No, you can't borrow my phone. I don't want,
Well, exactly. They're so personal.
Yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
carry
absolutely.
so much private information on your phone these days.
Yeah, yeah. And you don't want people looking through your phone, whether it's pulling up contacts or, whatever it is, pictures, whatever it is. You just don't necessarily want somebody going into your phone. Unless it's a
Mhm.
friend, a family member, they're probably not going to get a hold of my phone. So yeah,
But
but
yeah, unfortunately, I don't see payphones coming back.
no, no, I don't either. It's just all I can say is I just think that for like an emergency, it's a great thing to have at hand. Um, and it's even if they're rare, maybe there should be one in like certain stores or whatever, just so that if somebody needs to dash in to a place and say, hey, I need a phone, or outside of a convenience store or whatever. That used to be the kind of thing. If you were, if your car broke down, you ran out of gas, something like that. You realize, oh no, I don't have my phone, or it's dead, or whatever. There's that payphone you can get to, and call your buddy and say, hey, I need help.
Yep.
But yeah. So other than that, like I said, I understand. I understand why they went away. What company, what possible, phone company is going to want to put up the money to to make those things available? It's just not practical. You couldn't ask somebody to do it, but
I would love to see free phones
yeah,
put out by a city or a state that are hardwired. You've got just a few buttons. You can press 911, you
yeah,
can press 411,
yeah,
you can press 311. You can't
yeah,
dial any numbers. But
yeah,
if there's an emergency,
yeah.
you've got access.
Yeah, and that actually is probably the way to do it. Like whether it's in an airport or outside of a convenience store, if you need an emergency number, um, they should only be used for certain emergency. Whether it's 911 for for getting the police, fire, whatever, ambulance, but just to save somebody's life. I can see, I can see having it for those reasons only,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
yeah, so no,
So
go ahead.
this guy behind me,
Yeah.
You had him behind you.
Yes. And right there. Yep.
Yeah, this behind me is a still from the TV pilot.
Oh, really?
He
Really?
is the guy that plays Daryl Zero.
Really?
The guy behind him is the guy that takes on Ben Stiller's role as Steve Arlo.
Oh no. Okay. Well, right there, I see the casting is is
And
not
again,
right.
I'm going to provide the link. So if anyone wants to watch it on their own, please do. See what you
Well,
think.
it's funny because I grabbed a number of photos, for the background. I always put them up,
Mhm.
and when I grabbed this one, and when I put it up the first time, the first thing that went through my head was, wait a minute, I'm trying to remember who this character was, and and now I know why I didn't. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it's it's actually like looking at him and comparing him and the other guy to to Ben Stiller and Bill Pullman. It's like, really, and it's not that you have to have someone cast that looks exactly like somebody, but at least have some kind of commonality. And I'm not
It's
seeing it.
it's not
So
even the looks really that are important for this character. It's how they come off.
yeah, yeah,
And like you said, Bill Pullman, he didn't, as crazy as his character was, he did not act extremely crazy. It was a very understated,
yeah,
you felt, okay, there's something different about this guy.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
But it
even when
wasn't
he
like,
well, even when he was looking like this, like more wacky, he still like he still underplayed it. It wasn't like he
mhm,
was going around the screen going, "Ha ha, I'm crazy." I mean, he wasn't really doing that. It was very understated, and so it's an injustice to the original role to overplay it or have someone overplaying it. But again, that's the unfortunate thing with. I actually really love the scenes on the treadmills because they use this for a number of things. Him talking to Ryan O'Neal and badly talking to Ryan O'Neal too. This was like awkward conversations, but
I actually did find this scene
oh, it
funny.
was funny. There were some very humorous moments in this, and this was one of this was one of the more humorous ones. Ryan O'Neal actually like I've told you before. I think Ryan O'Neal can do some really good acting, and when I see him doing roles where he's really playing it well, I give him all the kudos in the world. It's a love hate thing though with when it comes to Ryan O'Neal because I at the same time there's stuff that he's been in some movies that he's just irritated me so badly. So when he
Mhm.
does it right, I give him full of. He played a great bad guy in this. He played a
I mean,
great.
in this, it was only a hint of Ryan O'Neal. He
Yeah,
was, it, even though he was the client, he was sort of a minor character in this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, he's good in this because I mean, he plays a believable bad guy. It's not over the top. It's not too much of a. It's not too much of a, bad villain. He's not coming. There's some human things about his character in this
All
that
right. Mhm.
where you actually have a certain amount of sympathy for him. You certainly have sympathy for the guy he hires to go eliminate the woman who's wrecking
Mhm.
his life and blackmailing him. But I mean, that's one big part of the. I probably interrupted you when you were really giving the plot, but yeah, that's a big part of the movie. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, you know, on rewatch, I found this movie to be somewhat thin.
Yeah, yeah,
However,
I agree.
the
Yeah,
big reveal about the role that woman, Gloria, had
yeah,
and what her relationship to this whole mystery was,
yes, yeah,
I thought that big reveal was awesome.
yeah. It was,
And
and
then the
yeah,
ending where she actually was confronted with this guy's death and had to save his life.
Oh yeah, yeah, it
That's
did.
just who she was.
Yep, she was a good person. She was an EMT, and it was in her blood, and she just wanted to help people, and you could really
Mhm.
see it with her character. She was going to help anybody, no matter who they were. It was her job, and not only her job, but she, you could see it. Great acting on her part too, because you could see it when she came up to him. She knew exactly who he was and what he was doing, and it was just really playing on her face. She went right in and then did it. There's like a
Yep.
second. There was like a second hesitation where you see her like, really, and then she
And
did it.
that's the thing, you clearly see that hesitation. You
Yeah,
clearly see her wrestling with herself.
yeah, yeah. No, it's see, that's another thing about this movie. It's terrific acting all the way around, and
Mhm,
just absolutely terrific acting. The thing about the thinness in the movie is really pertaining to some of the characters not being fully fleshed out. But as far as the plot, um, the characters themselves are great characters. The actors all do a really competent, really great job,
mhm,
and it's just that had they had the the time, the energy to flesh out who
mhm,
some of these people were,
mhm,
and most important, Zero. If he'd been like more fully fleshed out, I think it
mhm.
would have been a better movie and probably a more well-rounded movie. But hey, it's a good movie, man. And
Yep.
I if you ask me, do I recommend the movie? I'll give it two thumbs up. I mean, like I said, it has flaws. I don't think it's a great movie. It's not a movie that I would say, oh, I love this movie, like you did before you resaw it. But I still say I really like the movie. And if you ask me, do you like that movie? I would say absolutely. So
Yep. Yep. I mean, I still think it's a fun movie.
it
I
is.
it's not the same in my esteem as I had remembered
Yeah, yeah.
it. And there are several movies like that. I can remember, like when I was younger, I used to love Caddyshack.
Oh yeah, yeah. Me too. A lot of
And
a lot of probably younger dudes. Yeah,
after a while, I had not seen that in like maybe 20 years. And I still remembered great. And I remembered it so great that I invited friends over. I'm like, oh, well,
oh
you've
yeah,
got to see this movie.
yeah.
And on the rewatch, I'm like, oh my God, this movie is so dumb.
Well, first of all, it is dumb. However, in fact, I wouldn't mind even doing it on here because there's so much to it. There's so much to talk about with that movie. Um, but Caddyshack, and we got to take a moment as you brought it up. We got to take a moment. But first of all, the thing that I find the most endearing about Caddyshack now, in after all these years have passed, what really actually gives me the laughs, and what I most enjoy is Rodney Dangerfield.
Yep.
He
Yep.
is him and Ted Knight together, the combo of those two together.
Mhm,
It's hilarious. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield, it's almost like he's doing a stand-up act. It's
mhm.
it's one after the other. You buy a hat like that, you get a bowl of soup with it. I mean, yeah, I mean, he's great. It's that's why you watch that movie is those two to
Yep.
me. But
No,
it's
I agree. Most people will say that's a Bill Murray movie, but
yeah,
really, Ted Knight and Dangerfield steal the
they
show.
they steal the movie, and Ted Knight is so good at playing this character that's both obnoxious and also really set upon, but because Rodney Dangerfield really doesn't like him, and he's going to do everything he can to annoy the guy, and he's all stuck up, and he can't handle Rodney Dangerfield, that he's a member of the club and he's real rich, and but it's just great, and so yes, it is. It's a good movie to have a lot of booze or get high with because you'll enjoy yourself.
You
But we
absolutely can't take it seriously. You can't
no,
go in expecting a movie.
yeah. And if you're gonna invite friends over to watch that, say, look, I'm inviting you over to watch something real stupid and real silly, and it is funny, but it's real stupid and silly, so be prepared. But yeah, I still love it and like it. But it is a movie, thinking back over the years, I liked it a lot more when I was younger.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
I mean,
It's funny. It's the neat thing about this channel
yes,
is we're both going to be watching movies that either we had never seen
yeah,
or haven't seen in like decades.
yes, yeah,
And I wonder how many we are going to uncover that do not live up to our memories.
yeah, yep. That's very true. I think we're gonna surprise ourselves with. I mean, I rewatch a lot of movies, and I could already, I mean, not offhand right now, but I could tell you different ones that I've been disappointed upon re-seeing and thought,
Mhm.
what did I think was so funny about? I'll tell you one that I saw recently, um, and I still like it to a certain degree, but I found it way more offensive. I also found it I also found it
If
like,
you found it offensive, I'm worried.
well, here's the thing. It was Animal House. Um some of the yeah, we're gonna have to do Animal House
We are going
because
to have to Yamaha. I haven't seen that in probably
yeah.
20 years.
Well, see, I resaw it recently, and I'll watch it again if we're gonna, just so I really get down the.
Oh, we're not going to do it anytime soon, but
No, no, but I'll rewatch it again. But that one, it's I don't want to even start getting into some of the reasons. I'll wait till we actually break it down. But
right.
there were certain things in there. Some of the jokes don't play in today's day and age. Some of those jokes don't play. They're more cringy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll just say that for now and until we do the. But I don't think it's as funny as I remember like watching some of the stuff and thinking that's hilarious, and it's like it's not that funny. And I mean, not even just from a more a newer outlook, a newer thought, whatever, people being more sensitive, whatever. It not even just from that. There is that, but there's also it's just like some of the lines. I was like, this isn't funny. It's just not, it's stupid. And I can handle stupid. I like stupid. I'm a Monty Python fan. So but again, but getting back to this, the woman behind me,
Mhm.
Gloria, right? Um,
Gloria.
yeah, kudos to her. She's great in this movie, and she's kind of one of the underplayed. Again, like what you were talking about
Mhm.
very early on when we started doing this.
Mhm.
No small part, and absolutely with her because her part wasn't huge, but it was really really important. And not only that, but she played it so well. And
And credit where credit is due. The character is Gloria. The actress is Kim Dickens.
yes, and I've seen her in different things, but she's one of those people that like every time I see her in a film, it's like okay, this woman, but I never remember her name, and it's sad that I don't.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I give her real props. Watching this movie, she's the one I felt the most for,
Mhm.
and I wouldn't say her character was fully fleshed out, but it was probably more so in some ways than some of the others because they explain who she is.
Mhm.
And yeah, kudos to her. She's really good. Under
But when you get down to brass tacks, this is all Stiller and Pullman,
oh yeah, no,
or at least 80%. Like
yeah,
they are the movie.
yes, they are. And believe me, the movie couldn't have been done without that or done as well without that combo because they're just
Mhm.
they're too good together. They're absolutely too good together. And again, Bill Pullman, he looks different in almost every scene that you see him in. I mean, the two that we've got up right now is the one look. There's the crazy Bill Pullman, which some of it's characters that he's pulling off. Some of it is just him, depending on his mood and how he's feeling. Yeah, there's another one, and but he's terrific in this, yeah, as he usually is in most movies. And again, Ben Stiller, you know, give him all the credit where credit's due because he's fantastic in this. So
Yeah, yeah. One of the reviewers I was reading stated that this movie works more as a buddy film than
yeah,
anything else.
yeah, yeah, and it's almost sad. It's almost sad the way because he just can't take it anymore. It's like it's too much. But it's because that's another thing that I found. a little bit hard about when this ended, because Ben Stiller's going his way out of necessity. He just can't handle this anymore. His girlfriend can't handle it anymore, or his wife. And and but there's Bill Pullman, and you think to yourself, well, how is he going to survive without this guy? Because he grew a little, but he really didn't grow enough. If he'd
Mm.
grown more, he would have been on that plane with that girl. Um, I mean, he was at the airport and she was saying, well, if you're here, like, why aren't you coming with me? And he couldn't. It wasn't in him. He didn't have the strength or the ability. And
Mhm.
that was the fully sad part. And you thought to yourself, well, Ben Stiller's leaving him. How's this guy going to get along now? He needs Ben Stiller. He's going to have to find another Ben Stiller.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
that would,
it's funny if we're going to talk about more weaknesses of the film.
yeah,
It was an unsatisfying ending.
yeah. That was, I think, one of my criticism is the way it ends, because we got two scenes here, one behind you and one behind me,
Mhm.
that I think of as, this is the guy when he's alone and he's not doing anything and he can't function. This is the guy you're seeing. And without being able to get on the phone, I almost think Ben Stiller is going to continue to receive the phone calls, or that
Yeah.
he's not going to be able to pull away, because this guy is so needy in many respects. Brilliant man, great detective, brilliant detective. But he's very needy, and without having Ben Stiller, that's his Robin, that's his, that's his right hand man, that's his wingman. He's his Iceman.
This is they're both characters that you sort of want more of. I'm wondering if they were angling for a sequel. Heck, a prequel would have been great. Like
Yeah,
you said, seeing how Stiller and Pullman got together.
yeah. I mean, this would have been a perfect movie for a sequel, because you could just see it picked up not even a few years later, 6 months later,
Yep.
and Bill Pullman either calling him out of really bad need, or Ben Stiller hearing that Bill Pullman's in trouble, needs him, that there's something going on, and the two of them end up back together again. Uh, but yeah, you see that there's been a number of movies that were made that were, there's the frustrated wife, girlfriend, that's like, you got to stop doing this. You can't, and there's always somebody drawing the guy back in. One last case, one last
Heck, we sort
job.
of saw that in Pool Hall Junkies.
Yes, yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's always those movies where it's, somebody that's dedicated enough, either to another human being or to a job, that they just can't walk away. Their
Mhm.
morality is too high, and they can't walk away. This is a friend in need, a, a cause in need. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's the two of these guys, and it would have been great for a sequel. You never know, the sequel could have outdid the original one even, but the original's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think I was happy to revisit this. I don't think we'll be seeing more of this in the future. I don't think anyone is going to revive this.
No, no, I don't either. It's a hard sell, for one thing. Um, Again, a good movie, and I don't know, like, just the way we're kind of pulling this at the end. I don't want to discourage people from seeing it, because we've given enough of the negatives as well as the positives.
Mhm, mhm.
But
It
I
was
like the movie. I hadn't seen it before. You introduced me to it by pulling this one up, and I'm glad I saw it. I'd love to see it. Down the
it
road,
was
I'd
fun.
watch
It
it.
was super fun.
Yeah, I would watch it again. Down the road, or if there was somebody that said they had never seen it and wanted to watch it, I'd say, sure, well, let's sit down and watch it.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm not going to rush back to it. But absolutely, I would still say, hey, watch it. It's a fun movie. You'll have a good evening watching the movie.
And it's very much a product of the 90s.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
felt a real feeling of nostalgia watching
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. Myself also. It's and again, the cast even. is a cast from the time. You know, it's so and again, I don't know, like I said, we've already praised all the actors, but they all do a fantastic job. Great plot, a fun plot. Um, I can't say anything more about it. It's a good watch. So
Yeah, and I think that's all there is to say.
there it is, and thank you for suggesting it. I hope the audience does, and if they haven't seen it, I hope they watch it. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. We are spoiler alert, so just we don't do the big intro. We're introing the movie more than we're introing our channel, but we always say at the end, and if there's anybody left still watching, the way people click through stuff, nobody's got an attention span anymore. But
They're all gone now.
yeah, they're all gone. We can say anything.
Crack a beer.
Yeah, we can say anything. But no, if you're still with us, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with us. And again, we love movies. We're certainly not any experts. You can tell from listening to us. We're just two people that really love movies, and
a little too much.
A little too much, and sometimes the wrong ones, but sometimes the right ones. But yeah, and happy Good Friday to everybody. I don't know if you, as John pointed out to me earlier, I don't know whether happy and Good Friday are two things that you necessarily put together, but for anyone that celebrates, Good Friday, it is, and it's going to debut on Saturday, which is Holy Saturday. I think that's what it's called, something like that. But anyway, hey, I'm a Catholic here, so, but yeah. So like I said, it's we're just wishing everybody and happy Thanksgiving, happy Easter to everybody, because when you'll see this, it's going to be Saturday, and the next day is going to be Easter. So happy Easter to everybody that celebrates. And Dom, great talk. Had a good time.
Love it.
Yeah. The next one will be my pick. So we'll keep that as a surprise. And Dom, great talk. Thank you again.
Anytime.
Well, no, I really appreciate you pulling this one up, because I had not seen
indulging me.
So yeah, hey, that's the fun of this too. I think we've surprised each other a couple of times with movies that we hadn't seen. But everybody, like and subscribe, and please support the channel in any way you can. If you can subscribe, that'd be great, because we can always use the subscribers, and we always love having you guys participating. If you're adding comments, please do suggest movies. But I think that's it. Dom, thanks again, and we'll call it a day.